Hi, Reddit. I have no one else to turn to. I'm writing this from a place that officially doesn't exist. In the space between the walls of my own house. It's quiet here. Perfectly quiet. The soundproofing panels I installed for 3 months absorb every sound from outside. I can't hear my wife, Qley, walking around downstairs in the kitchen. I can't hear her, perhaps, crying in the bathroom. I can't hear our Labrador Rex scratching at the door, trying to find me. This is my bunker. My fortress. My prison. And it all started with her betrayal. My name is Mark. I'm 35, an IT architect from Chicago. My life up until last year was a model of predictability, something introverts like me cherish. Qley, my wife, 33, met in college, married for 7 years. House in the Naperville suburbs, 2 cars, a mortgage, plans for kids that were constantly postponed until next year, when things are more stable. I thought we were a team. I was sure. I trusted her as I trusted myself. Fool. The first warning signs were small, and I, busy with my world of code and deadlines, successfully ignored them. She changed her phone password. Company policy, honey. Started staying late at work more often. New project, all hands on deck. A new, nervous energy appeared. Endless workouts, new clothes, more attention to makeup even when she was just going to the grocery store. I, fool, was even happy for her. Good for you, taking care of yourself. I suggested going out somewhere, just the 2 of us, to bring back the romance. She brushed it off tiredly. Another time, Mark, I'm exhausted. Doubt, like mold, began to eat away at the foundation of my confidence. I caught myself sniffing for any trace of unfamiliar cologne on her when she returned from yoga at 10 p.m. I scanned our joint bank account, looking for suspicious restaurant charges she hadn't mentioned. But the real blow didn't come through finances. It came through a simple, careless, domestic oversight. One night, a couple of weeks after another meaningless argument, we were arguing about which parents to invite for Thanksgiving. She fell asleep on the couch. Her laptop was on the coffee table, open. She had forgotten to turn it off. And I, walking past, saw a minimized but not closed messenger window on the screen. The name, Jake, burned my eyes like a flash. I froze. Everything inside me tightened into an icy ball. Rationalization worked overtime. There are many Jakes. Maybe it's a friend. Maybe it's someone's brother from work. But my heart already knew the truth. It was just waiting for confirmation. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in the study and stared at the dark monitor screen, seeing only the reflection of my own distorted face in it. In the morning, when she left for work, planting a kiss on my cheek, as always, as if nothing was wrong, I broke my own ironclad rule. I entered her digital space. The laptop password was simple: the birthday of our first dog, Barley. The betrayal began with a violation of a small trust, my own. I went into the browser history. Saved passwords. And I found it. It wasn't a regular messenger. It was some app for secure communication I'd never even heard of. I downloaded it to my phone. Tried to log in with her username. Requested a password reset to her email, which I, by a lucky, or unlucky, chance, also had access to. 2 minutes, and I was inside. The messages, photos, voice notes, locations, everything, like in a bad TV show cliché you see and think, that only happens in movies. Turns out life is the most hackneyed screenwriter. Jake, her colleague, the talented and so misunderstood art director. Their affair had lasted 9 months. 9. Almost a year. They laughed at my predictability. She complained to him about my emotional unavailability, the irony. They planned meetups during lunch breaks at a boutique hotel in River North. They had their own jokes, their own spots, their own secret language. She sent him pictures in the bra I gave her for her last birthday. He wrote how much he missed her lips while sitting in a boring meeting. A meeting that was probably happening at the same time she was texting me, running late, don't wait for dinner, make yourself some pasta. The world didn't collapse. It shattered into microscopic shards, each one piercing my brain, my lungs, my heart. I felt physical pain, burning, tearing, in the center of my chest. I threw up in the kitchen sink. Then I just sat on the cold tile floor, hugging my knees, staring at one spot. Thoughts wouldn't come. There was only a white, deafening noise of panic and absolute ruin. I didn't make a scene. I didn't call her screaming. I didn't send angry messages to that Jake guy. A survival instinct, strangely, took over. I was like a wounded animal that needed to crawl to a hiding place first, and only then decide whether to live or not. But where to crawl? Go to friends? To my parents in Ohio? That meant immediate confrontation, an explosion, public shame, a flood of questions I had no answers for. I was too broken for war. I needed a respite, a citadel. And then I remembered the attic. Not just any attic. When we bought this house from old Mr. Henderson, that retired engineer, he showed us all the quirks during the tour. And, tapping on one of the walls in the attic, he said with a sly wink, "And here, young folks, is a bonus space. Great spot for a hideaway from the wife. I built my model trains there." We laughed then, taking it as an eccentric old man's joke. But now his words surfaced in my memory with crystal clarity. That same day, telling Qley I had a terrible migraine and would be turning off my phone, I crawled up into the attic. Cluttered with junk, dusty, smelling of old wood and insulation. I found that wall. I got a tape measure. I started measuring the external and internal dimensions of the house, checking against the building plans I had in a folder. The discrepancy was obvious. Behind the drywall and fiberglass batting was a void about 1 meter wide and 6 long, a narrow, long pocket running along the roof slope. The dormer window on that side was completely boarded up with siding from the outside. It was at that moment that Project Bunker was born. It wasn't a spontaneous decision. My brain, used to solving complex system problems, identified the issue and sketched a plan. Objective: create a fully autonomous, hidden refuge inside my own home without raising Qley's suspicions. Timeline: undefined. Resources: my savings, time, skills. It became my obsession, my meaning, the thing that kept me from suicidal thoughts. Instead of dealing with the pain, I started dealing with drywall. I told Qley I wanted to turn the attic into a dream office so I wouldn't have to work from the bedroom. That it was my therapeutic project to cope with work stress. She, immersed in her own hell of guilt and double life, though I hadn't yet let on that I knew anything, just nodded indifferently. "Do whatever you want, just don't blow up the house." Her indifference was my best ally. The work progressed slowly, in the evenings and on weekends. I hauled out junk under the guise of sorting for charity. I bought materials little by little from different stores to avoid suspiciously large receipts. First, demolition. Then, reinforcing the frame. Running a separate electrical cable straight from the panel in the garage, with its own breaker, disguised among the others. I found a used but working mini-split for AC and heating on Craigslist, ran the drain line and refrigerant line through a ventilation gap. That was the hardest part. The door. The door was a work of art. I made it from the same drywall and wood paneling as the rest of the wall. A frame on heavy hinges with a soft close mechanism. The opening mechanism, a magnetic latch that releases if you apply a small magnet key to a certain, inconspicuous screw on one of the bookshelves. I purposely put those shelves nearby. The shelves slide aside on quiet rollers. The passage was narrow, only 60 centimeters. Inside, I laid down laminate flooring, painted the walls a dark, cozy, midnight blue. Put in a narrow but long sofa that converts into a bed. A desk sill under the dormer window. I replaced the external siding on that window with mirrored glass on the inside. From the outside it looked like a blank wall, but daylight filtered in, transformed into a soft, diffused glow. Brought in a mini fridge, microwave, electric kettle. Installed a powerful Wi-Fi access point. Bought a large monitor for work and a portable speaker. It was austere, but it had all the comfort necessary for physical survival. And most importantly, absolute silence and invisibility. It took almost 4 months. And during those 4 months, I lived a double life. On the outside, a husband who suspects something is wrong but stays silent, goes to a couple of therapy sessions, I really did start going, pretends to be trying to improve communication. On the inside, a cold, calculating builder erecting walls not just from drywall but around his own heart. The bunker was ready. And only then did I feel strong enough to start the conversation. The conversation was brief and emotionless. I invited her into the living room, sat down opposite her. Didn't let her speak. I just said, "Qley, I know about Jake. I know everything. The Renaissance Hotel in River North, your Tuesday and Thursday lunches, the red lace lingerie I thought was a gift for me, your jokes about my hobby. Everything. I don't need explanations. I don't need excuses." I'm just stating a fact. Our life, as you knew it, is over." Her face turned ashen. She opened her mouth, but no sound came out. Then tears, words, attempts to hug me. I physically pulled away. "I'm staying in this house," I said. "Because it's my house too. But from this moment on, we are roommates. You sleep in the bedroom. I'll sleep downstairs. We only discuss practical matters, the dogs, bills, plumbing repairs. That's it. You do not enter my office in the attic. That is my personal space. If you break this rule, I file for divorce immediately and throw you out through the courts." She was too shocked and crushed by guilt to argue. She agreed to all my conditions. And so began our new, twisted regime of coexistence. Another 6 months have passed. Here's what's happening now. Qley lives in a hell of remorse. She tries to fix everything, cooks my favorite meals, suggests going to the most expensive therapist in Chicago, writes me long apology letters. She cut off all contact with Jake. I checked. Yeah, it seems she did. She's become a shadow of her former self. And I live in my bunker. I spend 8 to 10 hours a day there. Work, watch shows, read, sometimes just lie there and stare at the ceiling. It's my cocoon. Here, I am safe. Here, her pain, her guilt, her attempts to reach me don't touch me. There's no trace of her perfume, her presence, memories. It's just me and the silence. I go downstairs only to feed the dogs, make myself a proper meal. You can't live on microwave food in the bunker. Or when I need to maintain the roommate facade, discuss an electricity bill or the plumber's visit. But the paradox is that the bunker, which saved me from an immediate nervous breakdown, has become a new problem. I'm stuck. Physically, I'm still married, living with my wife. Emotionally, I've already left. But I haven't left for the outside, for a new life. I've left inward, into this narrow, long room. And I feel good here. Too good. I created the perfect environment to freeze my pain. But by freezing the pain, I froze everything else. Hope. The anger that could have given me energy for action. Even the desire for a new life. Sometimes I hear her calling me downstairs. "Mark? Mark, are you home?" And I sit 30 feet above her, behind a hidden wall, and hold my breath. And I feel a surge of strange, grim satisfaction. You lost me. Now look, you won't find me. I'm out of reach. I understand this is unhealthy. That I can't live like this forever. That sooner or later I'll have to make a decision. Either try, with a ton of therapy, to rebuild something with Qley or leave. Leave for real, pack my things, hire a lawyer, divide this cursed house with its secret room. But the thought of leaving the bunker triggers a fit of pure, animal panic in me. It's my refuge, my fortress. How can I leave it? It's like becoming defenseless, naked again, stepping onto a battlefield where you've already been shot 10 times in a row. I'm lost. The bunker gave me control when I was completely deprived of it. But now that control has turned into isolation. I'm afraid that if I go out, I won't find myself in a new future, but simply in another, more lonely and vulnerable version of hell. Tonight, sitting here listening to the wind howling off the lake outside, the sound only comes through the mini-split's ventilation, I asked myself for the first time, what if I didn't build a refuge from her? What if I built it from myself? From the need to feel, to decide, to move on? The bunker is a physical manifestation of my emotional blockade. And the key to that blockade is on my keychain, in the form of a small, unremarkable magnet. I don't know what I'll do tomorrow. Maybe I'll sit here all day again. Or maybe I'll take that magnet, open the door, go downstairs and say, "Qley, we need to talk." For real. But that requires a courage I don't have yet. For now, I only have this room. And this endless text I'm writing into the void of Reddit, hoping someone will understand the absurdity of my situation. A prisoner in a fortress I built myself. The warden and the inmate in one. And all because the woman I loved decided that some Jake's love was worth more than our 10 years. Thanks for listening. I have no one else to tell this to.